John was a friend of mine. I played on a couple of his albums, his later albums. It was always so nice. I'd run into him in Europe at festivals, and he actually opened up a Black Country Communion show once in 2011. It was John Mayall and the Blues Break. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Why is he opening? Right. And it was an outdoor thing in Italy, and Rocky Ethis was playing. But every time I would see John, this is going back 25 years, always smiling, always excited about the gig, the action, the whole thing. He was just an excitable guy, right? To the point where you would forget what those records that he made and the impact of those records. Okay. Every suburban white kid who was remotely interested in blues guitar had to go through the Beano album. That was just standard issue. It was Stevie Ray Vaughan, the Beano album, you know, whatever. And Hendrix. The the impact of his music and the impact of the blues never, you could never imagine what the music would sound like if it wasn't for John Mayall and Alexis Corner and Big Bill Brunsey. And those guys were the founding fathers of this movement that turned into the Led Zeppelins, the Rory Gallaghers, the Gary Moores, the everything that's on your shirt, blues rock, started with those guys in London. And I've been screaming to anyone who listened over at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, going, you need to get John Mayall in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before he dies. And of course, as if on cue, he goes in. The ceremony's in September, and he passes away 2 days ago. I'm glad that he knew he was going in because he was a Hall of Famer, and I'm just mad that he never, and sad that he never got to get the statue, because I know two people, one being in my band, that have a statue from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it means something to them. It's a validation of a career, and like when their parents would say, "You're going into this rock and roll business, you're gonna just not gonna amount to anything. You're gonna be a loser." Well, I'm in the Hall of Fame. It means something. So I implore anybody at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to do the right thing by these artists who are now in their late 70s and 80s, and in John's case, 90s. Let's get them in. Fuck the TV show. Okay? Do whatever you need to do for the TV show, but do a ceremony beforehand or the day before. Like, the best carpentry Oscar goes to, who cares? You know what I mean? It's like, it means something to that carpenter who built the set. It means something to these guys to go into the Hall of Fame. And John Mayall is the perfect example of waiting too long to acknowledge the impact of what he did. And, he had good taste in guitar players, but I interviewed him kind of on a Zoom call like this. And I said, man, like, what was your biggest problem back in those days? He goes, keeping a guitar player. The Stones took Mick, Fleetwood Mac was Peter Green. I couldn't keep him, but Peter was Eric's sub when he didn't want to be. It's like, those are Cadillac problems. But every suburban white kid who plays a Les Paul guitar owes a debt of gratitude to John Mayall. I'll take that to my grave.